the pairs champions from Japan, coming back from 5th place to win gold. I spoke with their coach, Bruno Marcotte. He was looking for a partner for Ryuichi and saw in Riku a really spunky, very talented skater. He admits that he didn't think initially that they could be Olympic champions.
Why did overseas fans become so deeply captivated by Riku Miura and Ryuichi Kihara, known as RikuRyu? Was it because they won the gold medal, became world champions, and conquered the Grand Prix final? Of course, those achievements played a major role. Reaching the top of the world is never easy, especially in pairs figure skating, where Japanese athletes becoming #1 once felt like a distant dream. For many years, Japanese figure skating was known mainly for men's singles and women's singles, with Japanese skaters repeatedly rising on Olympic and World Championship stages. But pairs skating was different. It requires two athletes to move as one, with difficult lifts, throws, catches, timing, trust, and years of connection. For Japan to stand at the very top in pairs was something many people once struggled to imagine. The pair who changed that history was Riku Miura and Ryuichi Kihara. But overseas fans did not love RikuRyu simply because they won. They were not suddenly drawn to them only after the medals came. Long before they became world champions, long before they became Olympic gold medalists, and long before their names became widely known across Japan, international figure skating fans had already sensed something special in them. Many fans said that from the first time they watched this pair, something felt different. It was not only about technique. The atmosphere between them felt warm, natural, and comforting. Just watching them made people smile. When they skated together, when they smiled after a performance, when they supported each other after a mistake instead of blaming one another, and when they stood up together again, overseas fans felt moved by something deeper than scores. One fan said watching RikuRyu made them forget their worries. Another said there are many strong pairs in the world, but very few pairs can make viewers feel this happy. Another fan described their charm in one powerful sentence: "They are not just skating, they are creating something together." That statement says a lot. Figure skating is a scored sport where jump rotations, lift difficulty, spin levels, throw height, step quality, and every technical detail become numbers that decide rankings. But RikuRyu's appeal cannot be explained only through a score sheet. There is something that does not appear in technical points, component scores, or standings, yet once you see it, it stays in your heart. Overseas fans sense that invisible charm more clearly than anyone. So what exactly was that charm? Why did RikuRyu become loved beyond borders? Why did their performances leave international fans feeling so warm? Today, let's look at the real reason overseas fans became so obsessed with RikuRyu and the truth behind the smiles, trust, and bond that captured the world. Riku Miura and Ryuichi Kihara formed their partnership in 2019. Today, RikuRyu are known as historic figures in Japanese pairs skating, Olympic gold medalists, world champions, Grand Prix final champions, and the pair who rewrote Japan's skating history. But their beginning was not glamorous. Ryuichi Kihara had already carried Japanese pairs skating for many years. He had competed at the Sochi Olympics and the Pyeongchang Olympics and continued battling on the world stage. But his road was never smooth. Pair skating has always had limited conditions in Japan. It is not a discipline that can be completed alone. Without the right partner, nothing can begin. Body balance, skating speed, technical compatibility, shared goals, and timing all have to match, or continuing as a competitive pair becomes extremely difficult. Kihara understood that struggle better than anyone. He knew how challenging Japan's pairs environment was compared with powerhouse nations, and he knew how high the wall was to reach the world's elite. He kept fighting through that reality. On the other side was Riku Miura, a young skater full of brightness, energy, courage, and a natural ability to draw attention on the ice. But no matter how much talent a skater has, pairs skating cannot be completed alone. Even with strong jumps and beautiful expression, if you cannot trust your partner, the elements will not work. In pairs skating, the female skater repeatedly has to place her body in the male partner's hands. In lifts, she leaves the ice and holds her position high above the rink. In throw jumps, she receives power from her partner, flies into the air, rotates, and lands on her own. A small hesitation, a small fear, or a small timing mistake can lead to a serious error or even injury. That is why pairs skating requires more than technique. It requires trust, the courage to give your body to your partner's hands, the ability to feel each other's breath, and the understanding of the next movement without words. Creating one performance together does not simply mean skating to the same music. It means facing the same direction in the same moment. It means not just adjusting to the other person, but moving together as one. Without that, the performance cannot reach the audience's heart. From the early days of their partnership, RikuRyu already had that feeling. They were not yet a complete pair. They still had many technical areas to improve, and compared with the world's top teams, they lacked experience and major results. Yet when they skated together, people could not look away. For some reason, viewers wanted to support them. For some reason, viewers wanted to keep watching. They were still a young pair, but there was already a story between them. Some fans said they looked so natural together that it was hard to believe they had not been skating together for many years. Before judging whether they were good or not, people simply felt something in their hearts. That feeling slowly spread. There was no forced connection between them. When Miura moved forward with energy, Kihara accepted and supported that power. When Kihara held her, Miura trusted his hands without hesitation. Neither one tried to become the only star. Together, they created one shared atmosphere. That natural quality captured overseas fans. And one person close to them saw that special quality clearly. Canadian coach Bruno Marcotte, the coach who guided RikuRyu toward the top of the world. Bruno once described what made them truly special as something like lightning that happens when they skate together. Lightning is a perfect way to describe RikuRyu's appeal. Bruno was not simply saying their technique was strong. Their jumps, lifts, speed, and skating quality were important, of course. Those things are necessary to win at the world level, but what he saw was something deeper. The moment the two skated together, an unexplainable electric energy appeared. Just taking each other's hands changed the air. Just gliding in the same direction made people unable to look away. Even before an element was completed, they had already captured the audience's attention. That was probably the lightning Bruno sensed. Overseas fans understood that feeling too. When RikuRyu began skating, the whole atmosphere of the rink seemed to shift. Something special moved through the ice. That is exactly why fans became so devoted to them. From the moment the performance began, something felt different. Even before the scores appeared, even before the ranking was decided, viewers felt that this pair had a unique presence unlike any other. And that presence was not limited to skating experts. You did not need to know the names of the elements. You did not need to understand the scoring system. Watching Riku Miura trust Ryuichi Kihara enough to fly into the air, watching Kihara support her firmly, and watching the two smile together after a program was enough to understand that they were a truly special pair. International fans were drawn to that. One word often used overseas to describe RikuRyu is chemistry. In simple terms, it means compatibility or a special reaction between two people. But for RikuRyu, even that word may not be enough. It is not just that they match well. When they come together, something appears that neither one could create alone. It is not only Riku Miura. It is not only Ryuichi Kihara. It is something that becomes complete only when they stand on the same ice, listen to the same music, and breathe at the same moment. That was the heart of RikuRyu's charm. Their chemistry looked real. It did not feel like a staged friendship or a performance created for cameras. It looked like genuine trust. Just seeing them exchange glances could make viewers feel calm. Their expressions after performances especially touched many fans. The smiles after a clean skate, the way they stayed close after a difficult mistake, the quiet moments together in the kiss and cry, the way Kihara's face softened when Miura smiled, and the way Miura looked relieved when Kihara relaxed. There was no artificial acting in those moments. There was a natural connection. Viewers smiled without realizing it. That is why many overseas fans said watching RikuRyu made them feel happy. Some said their smiles made them happy too. Some said they loved their post-performance hugs because it felt like two people finishing a long journey together. Some said that no matter the result, they felt relieved when the two were smiling. That is a very special thing. There are many strong athletes, many impressive athletes, and many skaters who can deliver near-perfect performances, but not many athletes are described as people who make viewers feel happy. RikuRyu were not only a pair that won, they were a pair that warmed people's hearts. That warmth is what made overseas fans fall in love with them. Of course, their skating was technically outstanding too. Their speed across the ice, high lifts, fearless throw jumps, musical expression, and smooth flow as a team were all world-class. They had the ability needed to win, but the foundation beneath that technique was trust. Take their lifts, for example. When Kihara raises Miura high above the ice, she holds a beautiful position in the air. To viewers, it looks elegant and breathtaking. But in reality, it is an extremely frightening skill. She is lifted high while moving across the ice at speed. If there is even the smallest fear, the body becomes stiff. If she cannot fully trust her partner, hesitation appears in her movement and expression. But Miura trusted Kihara's hands. She believed he would support her, protect her, never drop her, and carry her to the most beautiful position possible. That trust is exactly why her lines look so graceful in the air. Fans often noticed Kihara's expression during lifts too. His hands did not look harsh or mechanical. They looked careful, gentle, and protective. Many viewers felt that he was not simply holding her up, but guarding her. And the reason she could look so free and beautiful in the air was because she truly trusted him. And Kihara is not simply lifting Miura. He is supporting everything so she can perform with complete confidence. He does not limit her movement, and he does not make her feel fear. He guides her toward the position where she can shine the most. In his hands, there is not only technique but also kindness. That may be why overseas fans were so moved by the way Kihara supports her. He is powerful but never rough. He is reliable but never controlling. He allows Miura to shine while still keeping his own strong presence inside the performance. In pair skating, that balance is extremely difficult. If one partner stands out too much, the harmony breaks. If one partner holds back too much, the performance loses strength. RikuRyu's balance was beautifully clear. They never erased each other. They brought out the best in each other, and that relationship appeared across the entire performance. He makes her shine, but he does not disappear. Their balance is incredible. Watching them makes you understand what a true partnership really means. That may be why overseas fans looked at them and felt, I want these two to succeed. I want these two to keep smiling. I want to see more of their journey. When people truly begin to love athletes in sports, they are not only watching results. Of course, people support winners and admire strong competitors. But when an athlete truly captures the heart, it is usually because viewers feel their humanity and their journey. RikuRyu had that. They had success, but they also had failure. They had injuries, uncertainty, tears, and pressure. Still, they never let go of each other's hands. That image stayed in the hearts of people around the world. One of the biggest moments when RikuRyu truly captured global attention came at the Milano Cortina Olympics. In the pair's individual event, they entered with huge expectations as gold medal contenders. Japan's first Olympic gold medal in pair skating was not only a national hope, but also the dream they had chased for years. However, an unexpected mistake happened in the short program. A major error on a lift hurt their score, and they fell to 5th place. Suddenly, the medal seemed far away. The Olympics are a stage where one moment can change everything. All the time they had built, all the support they had received, and all the dreams they carried seemed to almost collapse in one night. Ryuichi Kihara reportedly felt deep despair at that moment. It was said that even during practice on the day of the free skate, he could not stop crying. That is how heavy the mistake in the short program was. He may have felt that his own error had damaged the dream they shared. It would have been understandable if his heart had broken. A pair expected to fight for gold now had to climb back from 5th place against the strongest teams in the world. There was no room for even the smallest mistake. Simply completing the elements would not be enough. They needed a performance powerful enough to take over the entire arena. That was the situation, but RikuRyu were not finished. Riku Miura was beside Ryuichi Kihara. She did not attack him, she supported him. They did not fall apart. They chose to stand together again. They had come this far together so they would skate the final performance together. That feeling was inside their free skate. Just imagining how painful it must have been after the short program is heartbreaking, but they came back, and they came back in the strongest possible way. Because the performance came after failure, it became even more beautiful. Then came the free skate, set to Gladiator, music filled with battle, pain, and the courage to rise again. It almost felt like the music was written for RikuRyu in that moment. From the second the program began, the atmosphere around them had changed. They did not look like a pair still trapped by yesterday's mistake. Instead, they seemed to have turned that pain into power. Kihara supported. Miura flew forward. Together they skated. Each element that landed began to change the feeling inside the arena. At first, the crowd watched with held breath. But as the performance continued, people slowly began to realize something. This was not just a comeback. This might be the moment history changes. The lifts were completed. The throw jumps landed. The spins matched. The steps connected with the music. By the time they moved toward the final pose, the energy in the arena had clearly risen. Then the performance ended. They had made it through. In that instant, the arena erupted with emotion. Their score was 158.13, with a total of 231.24, completing a stunning comeback from 5th place and winning Japan's first Olympic gold medal in pair skating. People overseas were deeply moved by that performance. One international commentator could not help but say that these two were unbelievable. Even world gymnastics superstar Simone Biles reacted to RikuRyu's performance and called it perfect. That was not just a simple compliment. Biles herself is an athlete who has competed at the highest level in the world. She knows the pressure of perfection, the world where one tiny mistake can change everything, and the challenge of controlling both body and mind under extreme pressure. For someone who understands that kind of intensity, to call RikuRyu's performance perfect was one of the highest forms of praise beyond the boundaries of sport. Overseas fans reacted strongly as well. They called it unbelievable. They said it was not just a performance. They said it brought them to tears. They said they could see the bond between them. They said they had never seen such a beautiful comeback. They believed RikuRyu deserved the gold medal, but more than that, they understood why the pair was so loved. The wording was different from fan to fan, but the common point was clear. They were not praising only the result. It was not just impressive because it was a gold medal. It was because they rose from 5th place. It was because Kihara stood on the ice after tears. It was because Miura kept supporting him beside him. It was because the two never let go of each other until the end. All of that appeared inside the performance, and that is why overseas fans were so moved. What matters here is that RikuRyu's charm does not exist only in moments of victory. In fact, their true appeal becomes even clearer when something goes wrong. Many athletes can smile when everything is going well. Many athletes can hug after winning. Many pairs can celebrate together after a victory. But what truly reveals a relationship is how partners support each other after failure, how they face one another in moments of despair, and how they choose to keep moving forward when everything seems lost. RikuRyu never tried to hide their struggles. They never hid their tears. They never pretended the pain did not exist. Yet in the end, they always stood back up together. That is why overseas fans saw them as more than just a strong pair. They saw them as a pair worthy of genuine love and admiration. Many fans expressed it this way: "We do not love them because they are perfect. We love them because they support each other even when things are not perfect." Watching them come back so beautifully after failure feels almost unbelievable. Their journey feels real and deeply human, and that admiration continued beyond competition. Even outside the rink, people were drawn to them. After becoming Olympic gold medalists, RikuRyu were invited to Dodger Stadium in the United States for a ceremonial first pitch. Most athletes would simply walk to the mound and throw the ball, but RikuRyu did something uniquely their own. Kihara lifted Miura high into the air, and from that elevated position she delivered the pitch. It was a moment inspired by pair skating, and something only the two of them could create together. Major League Baseball even highlighted the ceremony as taking the first pitch experience to another level. It was the perfect example of who RikuRyu are. They were not simply introduced as celebrities. They were not simply presented as Olympic champions. In a matter of seconds, they showed an American audience exactly why they became the best in the world. Kihara supported, Miura trusted and delivered. Together, they created one seamless movement. Whether on the ice or on a baseball field, the essence of RikuRyu never changed. It is no surprise that people watching could not help but smile. You did not need to understand figure skating to appreciate it. You did not need to understand their language. The message was obvious. These two trust each other completely. These two are an incredible team. That ability to communicate without words has always been one of RikuRyu's greatest strengths. Fans reacted with comments like, "Even their first pitch was perfectly them." The lift-10-throw combination was adorable and beautiful. I knew nothing about figure skating before, but now I like this pair. Their energy feels so warm. The phrase used in this video, "overseas fans reveal why they are obsessed with RikuRyu," may sound dramatic at first, but when you look at the reactions from around the world, it is not an exaggeration at all. The reason is simple. International fans are remarkably consistent when they talk about RikuRyu. Yes, they praise the technical skill. Yes, they admire the beauty of the performances, but far more often they talk about the relationship between the two skaters. They talk about the joy they seem to share while skating together. They talk about the trust that appears genuine. They talk about the warmth of their smiles. They talk about how watching them makes them happy. They talk about a bond that feels real. None of those qualities appear on a score sheet, yet those are exactly the things that move people emotionally. Sports are not built on victories alone. Winning matters. Success requires talent, discipline, years of hard work, and tremendous mental strength. But the reason people become emotionally invested goes beyond results. It comes down to one question. Do these athletes make you want to support them? Do they make you want to see them succeed? Do they make you want to follow their journey? RikuRyu absolutely did. Miura's bright personality, Kihara's kindness, the hardships they overcame together, the trust they placed in one another, and the calm joy they showed even after victories all combined to create something special. Their smiles after performances often left audiences feeling relieved and happy. Overseas fans were not captivated only by the performances. They were captivated by the people themselves. Viewers felt as though they could see their personalities through the screen. They were not just strong. They were kind. They were reassuring to watch. That is why fans kept returning to their performances again and again. Looking back, RikuRyu's journey was never easy. They did not reach the top of the world overnight. There were injuries. There were challenges with training environments. There were gaps between them and the dominant nations in the sport. There were even periods when global circumstances made training and competition difficult. Yet they continued moving forward one step at a time. They earned results in the Grand Prix Series. They won medals at the World Championships. They became world champions. And eventually they captured Japan's first Olympic gold medal in pair skating. The more people learned about that journey, the more they understood why international fans loved them so much. This was never just a story about success. It was a story about support. When one struggled, the other was there. When one cried, the other stayed beside them. Together, they overcame obstacles that neither could have conquered alone. That is why their performances carried such emotional depth. They were not simply beautiful. They carried the weight of years spent growing together. Their smiles were not just charming. Behind those smiles were sacrifice, perseverance, and resilience. Perhaps overseas fans sensed all of that. Many felt that when they looked at RikuRyu's smiles, they could see the years of challenges they had overcome. Their appeal was not simply that they were likable. They represented both strength and kindness. Supporting them made people feel more positive themselves. Even for casual viewers watching on television, RikuRyu's appeal was easy to understand. You did not need to know the scoring system. You did not need to memorize every technical element. You only needed to see Miura trust Kihara completely. You only needed to see Kihara support Miura with confidence. You only needed to watch them smile together after a performance. That alone communicated everything. It made people think this is a great pair. These two truly trust each other. Japan has something special in these athletes. That is the power of RikuRyu. It reaches people through a television screen. It reaches people without words. It reaches people even without deep knowledge of the sport. And because it reaches people that way, it naturally crossed borders as well. The reason RikuRyu became loved around the world can be summed up simply. They represented something bigger than nationality, bigger than language, and bigger than scores. They represented trust. They represented warmth. They represented the ability to make people smile. That was the true source of the bond and joy that captivated audiences worldwide. Bruno Marcotte once described the feeling of watching them skate together as lightning. Simone Biles called their Olympic performance perfect. International commentators described them as unbelievable. MLB highlighted the way they elevated a ceremonial first pitch into something memorable. All of those reactions point toward the same conclusion. RikuRyu were more than athletes competing in a sport. They were a pair capable of connecting with people on a human level. Figure skating fans felt it. Gymnastics stars felt it. Baseball fans felt it. Even people unfamiliar with the sport felt it. They felt it because RikuRyu were genuine. Their smiles were not manufactured. Their connection was not staged. Their trust had been built over years of shared experiences, and that trust naturally appeared in every movement and every expression. That authenticity reached people's hearts, and once it did, it crossed every border. The reason overseas fans became obsessed with RikuRyu was not only because they were strong. It was not only because they were beautiful performers. It was because the bond between them felt real. Through every performance, that bond reached people around the world. Their Olympic gold medal stands as proof of their hard work. Their world championship title stands as proof of their ability. But the love they received from international fans may be the greatest proof of their character and partnership. That is why RikuRyu became a pair remembered not only for records, but also for memories. Strong athletes are remembered in statistics. Beloved athletes are remembered in hearts. RikuRyu became both. Japan's first Olympic gold medalists in pairs skating, performers who captivated audiences around the world, and athletes whose smiles and bond inspired countless fans. All of those things came together to create something truly special. One overseas fan may have summed it up best by saying, "Watching them reminds me why figure skating is beautiful." That statement captures everything. It is not only about technique. It is not only about winning. It is about beauty, trust, kindness, effort, and the joy of skating together. When all of those things came together, RikuRyu created performances that touched hearts far beyond the boundaries of sport. So what is it that draws you most to RikuRyu? Is it the beauty of their skating? Is it their smiles? Is it the way Ryuichi Kihara supports Riku Miura? Or is it the bond that has helped them overcome every challenge together? Let us know your thoughts in the comments, and let's continue celebrating the incredible legacy of the Japanese pair that captured the hearts of fans around the world.